V-Flower definitely has one of the most engaging voice banks in recent memory, and if you've seen my V-Flower release video from last year, or my anniversary video from this past May, you know that I'm a fan, and I'm not alone. Flower may not have had this levels of success of, say, Rana, who is quite the adorable little outlier. Of course, Rana had a ton of ongoing support behind her for a year. Most Vocaloids don't have that much support, if any at all, but Flower was one who stuck it out and made a place for herself in our ever-expanding Vocaloid universe. When the Vocaloid 4 announcements were made last year, Flower's official Twitter account wondered if a V4 update was possible, and it certainly made sense. If any Vocaloid was made for Growl, it's Flower. I think it will go very well with Lily too when she's inevitably updated, but Flower's voice is just perfectly suited for it, at least in theory. I like the Growl feature more than many people do, but it is something that producers are still learning to use effectively. Most either don't use it at all, or if they do use it, they overuse it, so we're all still searching for that Goldilocks zone. In any case, because Flower's V4 update plans apparently started when her V3 had only been out for 6 months, we weren't sure what her update might entail. Few, if any, more mentions of her update were given from November until April 2015, when her V4 update was officially announced, and V4 Flower was released on... Wait, that's not the right picture! There, sorry about that. V4 Flower was released on July 16th, 2015, developed and published by Yamaha in association with Gynoid. It's Flower's voice that makes her so special, so let's talk about that first. While some people were hoping for new voice banks with Flower's update, V4 Flower is simply an update of her V3 voice bank. It adds Growl, of course, and according to her developers, some of Flower's diphone recordings were adjusted or fixed. I was not aware of any pronunciation issues, so I'm not sure what was fixed. V4 Flower also has additional triphone recordings compared to her V3, though again specifics weren't given. I personally cannot tell a big difference between her V4 and V3, but others have said that not only does she sound much smoother, the sometimes harsh metallic quality of her voice has been greatly reduced. Since it does sound so similar to Flower V3, you can think of V4 Flower as a sort of Flower version 1.5. Mostly the same, but with important improvements. The other thing that makes Flower so special is her character concept and design, and that's where most people's attention fell while we waited for more details on her V4 voice bank. For the newbies in the audience, Flower was created with an androgynous voice, a voice that was neither obviously male nor obviously female. Of course, her character design is decidedly feminine. But we are on the internet, and so it should be no surprise that there were quite a few people hoping she was really a boy, or that her gender would be unspecified, or some other stranger things. Those folks got a real shot in the arm when Flower's V4 design was revealed, with Flower looking much more like a boy this time around. You see, the very talented artist Miwashiba posted this piece of Flower fan art a month after Flower's initial release last year. The tweet describes the picture as a young boy version of Flower, a gender swap. If you think this picture looks just like V4 Flower's official design, you're quite right, as Gynoid decided that Miwashiba's design was perfect for V4 Flower. There are many small changes between the gender swap and the V4 design, and I'm not sure if Gynoid asked for the changes or if Miwashiba decided them on his or her own. But that is how V4 Flower's design was born. But as a result of the new artwork, a few people thought that Flower had changed genders, or was otherwise not strictly a girl anymore. Flower's official Twitter account added to this confusion with a tweet that, seemingly, tried to explain why the new character design was chosen. It brought up the fact that botanical flowers can have either a pistil or a stamen, but that some flowers have both. But before you get too excited, no, this doesn't mean that Flower is like Ruko, okay? The tweet was speaking as a metaphor for Flower's overarching design philosophy, not specifically about her character's sex. The more masculine V4 design represents how Flower can look and sound like a boy, and her V3 design represents how she can look and sound like a girl, yet they are both one and the same. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it and it was simply the person operating the official Flower Twitter account sharing a friendly factoid. As for Flower's gender, VFlower's Twitter account and Miwashiba have both said regarding Flower's V4 design that she is a girl. End of story. I never want to have to talk about this again. The bodily functions of a fictional character aside, how has V4 Flower's design been received? Very, very positively. Okay, I've seen a few dissenting opinions here and there, and several people were confused about why the design was changed so radically, but most of the responses I've seen have been akin to a small girl or a grown man getting their first pony. Once you get past the question of why was the design changed in the first place, everyone seems to adore it. And if you've seen my V-Flower release video, then this next statement will be no surprise to you. I really like the design for V4 Flower. I do think her V3 design stands out a bit more, but her V4 design is incredibly adorable. Her hair is simply perfect, and her outfit definitely brings out her androgyny much more than the V3 design does. A week before V4 Flower went on sale, Miwashiba posted some reference art. Oh my god, have you seen this picture of Flower pouting? She's just so... This is the cutest thing I've ever seen! And the partial reference sheet for V4 Flower's outfit shows that it's fairly complex, with her top consisting of no less than 3 pieces. It's not a complete reference, unfortunately, so it doesn't detail her skirt-like article or her boots, but it should still be a boon to cosplayers. It also shows that her hoodie does indeed have 2 large ear-like extensions, which we also saw in some early artwork for V4 Flower. That's the one part of her design that I don't really get, but if the hoodie is down, then it's not an issue. If you like Flower's V4 design and you're an MMD user, you'll be happy to know that MQDL, the creator of Flower's terrific V3 MMD model, has created an equally awesome one for her V4 design. Unfortunately, unlike the V3 model, which is freely available, to get her V4 model, you will have to purchase her voice bank. Now, let's talk about purchasing V4 Flower. Before I get to prices though, there are some peculiarities about Flower's available packages that might be unique to her, at least for now. First off, if you already own Flower V3, there is a digital upgrade you can purchase that will give you V4 Flower for half price. It's a nice gesture for Flower fans. Being a Yamaha developed voice bank, V4 Flower is of course available for purchase from the Vocaloid shop. But this is only as a digital download, and unfortunately there is no direct channel to purchase her physical copies. If you want a boxed V4 Flower, you'll have to order from sites such as Amazon Japan or Rakuten. You can find V4 Flower boxes on Amazon Japan which are fulfilled by Amazon, so it's about as close as we get for a direct way to buy them. But Amazon won't ship them outside of Japan, so you will either need to use a forwarding service or you can try to order from various resellers who may ship internationally. The global Rakuten site is another option, though I don't have any experience ordering from there myself. But it does seem that this seller will ship overseas. Just keep in mind that you can't use the same login info for these sites as you would for the US or European Amazon sites or for the American Rakuten. You'll have to create new accounts on those Japanese sites. If worst comes to worst, there's always eBay. There's a little more to say, but let's go ahead and put up the prices. For you Flower V3 owners, you can snag her V4 upgrade for about $45 United States dollars. If you want her boxed copy or her regular digital download, that will set you back $90. There is a V4 starter pack available, but this is where things get a little odd. First off, check out this fancy schmancy box. It looks unlike any starter pack we've seen before. It's gorgeous, to be sure, but what makes V4 Flower starter pack so different that it needs a special box? Most starter packs are simply a Vocaloids typical DVD case, plus a DVD case for the Vocaloid 4 editor, which are just put in the same packaging and sold together. The included Vocaloid 4 editor is the typical standalone version. That's not true with the V4 Flower starter pack. Her included editor is the Vocaloid 4 editor for Cubase. But wait, you say, isn't the V4 editor for Cubase the Mac version of the editor? Well, yes and no. The V4 editor for Cubase is necessary if you want to use Vocaloids on OS X, that's true. But it's called for Cubase because it's designed to be used from within the Cubase digital audio workstation software, which is compatible with OS X and Windows. And as it so happens, V4 Flower Starter Pack comes with a free serial key for Cubase AI, the entry-level version of the Cubase DAW. So this is almost like how the Krypton Vocaloids come with PIA Pro Studio and Studio One, except that the V4 editor for Cubase is exactly the same as the regular V4 editor, it's just designed to be run from within the Cubase program. V4 Flower may have been set up this way because a DAW is essential for people wanting to make original music with Vocaloids, but very few Vocaloid packages include a DAW, which puts new users at a disadvantage. Perhaps the inclusion of the DAW was done at Gynoid's request, or maybe this is a new strategy by Yamaha that it will do for their future releases as well. Yamaha does own the company which makes Cubase, so it makes sense. And I know that we've had 2 more Yamaha developed Vocaloids released after V-Flower so far this year, and they didn't have Cubase bundles, but those were both special. Anyway, the starter pack for V4 Flower will run you around $152, plus shipping. I will have links to all of these various purchase options in the video description. With your purchase of any of V4 Flower's packages, in addition to the V4 Flower MMD model, you also receive the audio data of the song Vividest, which I showed in my V-Flower anniversary video. It featured her V4 design in the PV, but it used her V3 voice bank. I assume this means that you get the VSQ for the song as well, but the site simply says audio data and recordings, so I'm not really sure what you get. And one neat little extra involves V4 Flower's serial number. Most Vocaloid serial numbers simply come printed on colored pieces of paper, but V4 Flower's serial code comes on gold credit cards. Why, other than the fact that it's cool? When Flower's debut album released last year, it came with an extra called a Precious card, which was a credit card with Flower's picture printed on it. I'm not sure what the purpose of the serial number on that card was, but it must have been a popular enough gimmick to warrant a sequel. Well, it's about time I stopped babbling and gave you all what you want, but I have just a couple other things to say. As before, V4 Flower is the name of the product, but Flower is the avatar's name, like Megpoid and Gumi. Flower's voice is officially written in English, but you will often see Japanese people write her name in katakana as Furawa, just because it's more natural for them. What you may also see from time to time is this nickname for Flower, which uses the kanji for, you guessed it, flowers. Now, I'm not sure how Japanese people actually pronounce this, as the Japanese word for flower is hana, so do they pronounce it as hana-chan, or do they say it like Furawa-chan, since they know her name is supposed to sound like that? In any case, when searching for her fan art and songs, you can generally stick to spelling it in English, which actually makes things a little more difficult because it's such a common word. And finally, one other oddity with V4 Flower is that she received no demo songs, not even one. Most other voice bank updates receive at least one demo, no matter how minor the update is. Even V3 Gachapon had demo songs, 3 in fact. I have no idea why V4 Flower didn't get any official demo songs, But like I said before, she has been received very well, and she has several great songs already, including one by Honeyworks who, if you'll recall, worked on V-Flower's original release. But more than that, one person made what by all rights should be V4Flower's demo. Created by AtH and posted the same day V4Flower was released, it demonstrates many different facets of Flower's voice. It begins with an a cappella segment with various parameter changes, then goes into an impressive Vocaloids segment, then finishes with a beautiful song that shows off growl and just how great Flower can sound. I will generally try to show only about 1 minute of each song I showcase, but this video is so impressive that I'm going to share the whole thing with you. V4Flower may not be a new voice bank, but it is definitely an update that has allowed her to bloom, especially in my heart.
私はフラワーボーカロイド伸びのある重音域と切なく憂いのある低音域、激しいギターサウンドにも負けないパワフルボイスが自慢。新機能のフロールに対応しただけではなく、滑舌の改善に加えてロックに特化しつつも耳の疲れにくい音質で歌う。スローロックでもいい、アップテンポなヘビーサウンドでもいい。私はロックを歌うためだけに生まれてきた。だからこの声もきっとあなたの力になれる。紡ぎ出せお前の叫びを響かせよこの声を。私は始める今ここから新しい私になる。研ぎ澄ませよその想いを響かせよ魂を。この声はお前のそれだけにある。重なる音の向こう側へと。花火大会が来週はなってね。ああいう人が多いの俺は苦手なんだよな。ああそれじゃ誰か他を当たってみか。やっぱ楽しそうだな。結構行きたいかも。喉乾いたな。これ飲めばこれっていわゆる関節キス。意識した喉は乾いたな。待ってる左手にほんの少し触れてみる。つなぎたいだけどポケットに隠れた。本当は気づいてる。ほんの少しで届く距離。つなぎたい本音背中に隠すの。もう二度とない痛いかも。こちでやすぎる感じ 下に飛んでた飛行機雲を詰め込んで君を今すぐ連れ去ってくとか新橋を目指して誰にも内緒で二人だけの秘密基地しようこのまま僕らはどこまでも行けるたまにはそんな強がりを思い込んで一個目のバンジの昼下がり今二人幸せをつないでるだからもうどこにも行かないで秘密の恋をした今のよくわかるよあなたのこと捨て身で傷ついても諦めない愛し方そのまま私が導いてゆくノンストップに幼いとミキソングだけじゃなくて永遠を夢見てた風に向かいにいつまでも変わることなく輝く何か私が咲いてくって嬉しくて投げ出したい人たった感じ自分の夢確かめるようにあなただけ見つめて重ねた唇が世界増えて言葉にできない痛みが溢れる愛が熱く燃えて泣きたいくらい優しい感覚でそばにくらい一つになるまで強く抱きしめたくて逃げない飛びない綺麗事じゃない誰にも負けない情熱気づくれるあなただから本当の違うですよに望んだ心に描いた世界を目指して生きてみたいよこのまま叶えたい未来もなくて夢に描かれるのを待ってたその未来が怖くて反応嫌で過去に願ってもうどうしようもなくなった叫ぶんだ明日よ明日よもう来ないでよってそんな僕を置いて月は沈み日は昇るでもその夜は小さかった君は僕の手も空へ舞う世界の彼方闇を照らす快晴へ君と僕のさまだ明日へ向かっていこう夢で終わってしまうのならば昨日を変えさせてなんて言わないかなまた明日も君とこうやって笑わせて私の中の愛の水準はいつも海なまま薄い感情は抑揚もなく何も言わず浮んでるフィルターで伸ばした心のあなたはただの人工で誰もが戻れる処刑を作られた魔法らしいケミカルエモーションデジタルなモーション届けたい想いは無機質で銀の歯車愛がなければ耳障りする音残すケミカルエモーション言葉のイリューション回りくどいセリフはいらない感じるものに流れるままに私にキスをすればいい今宵も頭上では綺麗な満月がキラキラ幸せそうに世界を照らしているどんな私は出来損ないけどしょうもなくて夜明け夢見ては地べた這いずり回ってるそれでも誰かに見つけて欲しくて夜空見上げて叫んでいる逃げ出したいが逃げ出せない明るい未来は見えないねそれでもあなたに見つけて欲しく
し眠りにつく少女喜ばせた歌はあれもこれも嘘だったんだ汚いことは隠し綺麗事を並べてそんな夜みたいな言葉ばかり広まってって君と僕はね似たもん同士なのに分かり合えないのはなんで僕たちが作った嘘つきの世界で君は作り笑いして本当のこと